Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to unwrap the story behind a flavor you absolutely think you know, but I promise you, it's packed with way more history, science, and drama than you could ever imagine.
You know how it is, right, when something's just plain, simple, kind of the default option? We call it vanilla. It's slang for ordinary. Vanilla ice cream, vanilla relationships. You get the idea.
But what if I told you that real vanilla is the complete opposite of simple? That its story involves a biological puzzle that stumped scientists for centuries, a brilliant discovery by a 12-year-old boy, and a global struggle against a changing climate? Let's dig in.
Okay, so to really get this, let's start with the price. Because if you think vanilla is some cheap, everyday commodity, well, you're in for a bit of a shock. Get this. Pound for pound, vanilla is the second most expensive spice on the entire planet. The only thing that costs more is saffron. That's right, it's pricier than cardamom, cloves, cinnamon, the whole spice rack. This isn't just a flavor, it's a luxury good.
And this isn't just some abstract fact. Take a look at this quote from a Reddit user in Europe who was floored by how cheap vanilla beans were in an American store. It just goes to show you the massive price differences around the world, hinting at a super complex global market. So why the crazy price tag? Well, the story doesn't start with a bean. It starts with a flower. A really beautiful and really picky flower. Vanilla actually comes from an orchid, specifically the vanilla planifolia. Now, for centuries after it was brought to Europe, nobody could get it to produce any beans. The reason? It turns out its one and only natural pollinator was this tiny little bee that only lives in Mexico. The flower and the bee had an exclusive thing going. Anywhere else in the world, the plant was pretty but totally useless. So for over 300 years, Europe had this flower that it couldn't figure out how to fruit. Then, in 1841, everything changed. And it wasn't a famous botanist who cracked the code. It was a 12-year-old enslaved boy named Edmund Albius. He figured out this simple but brilliant technique to pollinate the flower by hand. His discovery completely unlocked vanilla's potential and transformed the world. And this is basically his method. It's the same one that's still used today for almost every single vanilla bean you buy. It's incredibly delicate, painstaking work. Think of it like performing surgery on a flower, one by one by one. This huge amount of manual labor is a major reason why vanilla costs so much. And if that wasn't enough, check this out. Farmers are under insane pressure. Each flower only opens for less than 24 hours. That's it. If it's not pollinated in that tiny window, it just wilts, falls off, and that's that. No flower, no bean. The entire global crop depends on millions of these perfectly timed, hand-done procedures. It's just incredible. So, you've managed to pollinate the flower against all odds. Great. But the journey from that plant to your pantry? Oh, it has barely even begun. The bean that grows is not what you think it is. Just like this Reddit user found out a freshly harvested vanilla pod, well, it looks like a green bean. It's hard, it's green, and it has absolutely no smell of vanilla. None. Zero. In fact, the raw pod is actually worse than flavorless. The sap inside can irritate your skin. It's no wonder one grower called them the devil's green beans. So how do you get from that to the amazing spice we all know and love? The magic happens during a really long multi-month curing process. And this isn't just about drying them out, it's a controlled fermentation. They scald the bean to stop it from ripening, and then they sweat it, wrapping it up to kick off these chemical reactions that create vanillin. That's the main flavor compound. The whole process, from sweating to sun-drying to conditioning, takes months. It's a true art form that requires so much patience and skill. So, let's recap. We have this super long, difficult, labor-intensive process, and now this ancient crop is facing some very modern 21st century threats. Thanks to Edmund Albius's breakthrough, Madagascar became the vanilla capital of the world. Just look at this. They produce about 2/3 of the entire global supply. But concentrating so much of a delicate crop in one part of the world creates a huge vulnerability. And that vulnerability is really being tested. This quote from a farmer in Madagascar. It just captures the fear that's spreading through these communities. Their entire livelihood is being threatened by forces that are completely out of their control. And it's not just one thing, it's everything at once. Farmers are dealing with scorching heat, rivers that are drying up, And then these monster cyclones that can just wipe out an entire crop in a single day. And because so many live in poverty, they have very few resources to adapt to this terrifying new reality. But there is hope. In other places, like Indonesia, vanilla is actually becoming part of the solution. Farmers there are shifting away from destructive palm oil farms and instead planting vanilla vines inside restored forests. This approach, called agroforestry, brings back wildlife, improves the soil, and gives farmers a valuable, sustainable crop. It's a total win-win. All of these immense challenges out in the field have pushed innovation in a completely different direction, the lab. And it's creating a very different future for the flavor of vanilla. So meet bio-vanillin. This is the exact same main flavor molecule you find in a vanilla bean, but instead of being extracted from a cured pod, it's produced by microorganisms in a fermentation tank. For big food companies, this is a dream come true. It gives them a stable, reliable source of natural flavor that lets them put a simple, clean label on the ingredients list.
And this really gets to the heart of the trade-off. On one side, you've got the traditional vanilla bean, with its incredibly complex flavor that comes from hundreds of different compounds, but its supply is fragile and volatile. On the other side, you have bio-vanillin. It's consistent, it's sustainable, it's scalable, but it really only gives you that one primary flavor note. This is the central tension shaping the future of vanilla. Which brings us right back to where we started. After this whole journey, a unique orchid, a boy genius, months of fermentation, and a global fight against climate change, does vanilla still sound plain and simple to you? The next time you taste it, maybe you'll think of the incredibly complex story behind the world's favorite flavor.